Ay, are we going live na, Lloyd? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining Right from Home with our Project Forward Mentors, Rika Lee, Ardy Roberto, and Maki Wonder. It is one of the many virtual events of the 2020 Philippine Readers and Writers Festival, brought to you by National Bookstore with special thanks to Raffles Macat. So before we start, I want to invite all of you to shop for books online now on nationalbookstore.com and the official NPS store here on the Lazada app. You can also shop, by the way, from National Bookstore branches via chat to shop on Facebook Messenger and text to order through SMS or Viber. So amazing. You don't have to go out. But you can still grab these special discounts, 10% off on all local books and up to 20% off on all imported books when you shop online from September 25 to October 4 only. So 2 days to go, guys. Please grab this opportunity. Check out now because limited stocks are available. Okay, again, welcome everyone to today's event, Right from Home with our Project Forward mentors, Ricky Lee, RD Roberto, and Mackie Wonder. You know, I remember when this project was born this year, no? And for those who are not yet familiar with Project Forward, I want to share with you what the beautiful advocacy is behind this program. So Project Forward is a part of ABS-CBN Books Advocacy to encourage more people to read and write stories. Kasi daw palaging tinatanong, what makes ABS-CBN Books different from other publishers? And while all publishers, of course, have different strengths and weaknesses, ABS-CBN Books want to highlight the fact that we are all storytellers. And there are many great storytellers out there who want to share their stories and be heard. So the hard facts are, hindi sila napapansin kasi sometimes walang followers or hindi sikat. Pero this time, ABS-CBN Books decided to come up with a program that welcomes these talented storytellers with stories na outside of the usual stuff that we read or hear about. So ito yung mga storyang hindi nakakahon kwento, mga storyang bumabali sa standards and mainstream and the usual popular genres. But they have the substance and they have the story to tell. So that's how Project Forward was born. Hundreds of writers submitted their manuscripts at the start of the year, and ABS-CBN Books resident editors Quasar Quiano and Christine Hernandez, with the help of our mentors, they chose the best among the best of the entries. And from here, the mentors will help each writer build and develop their concept, build and develop the story until makabuo na sila. Sobrang exciting, sobrang interesting, right? And it was all possible because of our accomplished and inspiring author mentors, three of whom we are most honored to have with us today. Mackie Wonder, Sir R.D. Roberto, and Sir Ricky Lee. So I want to bring all of them here today. How are you guys? Hello. How are you doing?
Hi. Hi, Joey.
So I
Good
think there are
afternoon.
no words to describe this quarantine, but one thing that comes to mind is, did you have more time to read and write?
Yeah,
You,
yeah,
yeah, in your own time. This is
yeah,
I think a time where
yeah.
we have read and written more, no?
5 times, 10 times over. Kasi wala nang chance na maglakwat siya sa labas pag nabobore. So, na-focus yung oras sa bahay.
And I think productive naman, di ba? It
Kaya,
has made us more productive.
ako, mas productive ako ngayon. Again, 10 times over kesa nung hindi pa nagla-lockdown.
That's great. Because Sir RD, how are you doing? How are the projects? You're always speaking to a lot of audiences. Has that changed because of the pandemic?
It did for a while, and then now it's back. So full na naman ang schedule. Like kanina, I just finished a webinar for a client. On my case naman, nung first few weeks of the pandemic, nakakasulat ako. So there was a time when I was stranded in Maui after a speaking engagement. So nandun ako for 2 weeks. So I had time to write by the poolside or go to the beach. Pero once I got back here sa Manila, after that, sunod-sunod na yung mga webinars and talks online. So feeling ko minsan I'm selling my soul. Kasi inuuna yung yung tawag ng pangangailangan kaysa sa tawag ng puso na kailangan magsulat. And if you're a writer, you really have to write it. So, ayun. Yun ang confession ko kay Sir Ricky.
I think we can all relate. We can all relate. Sometimes para sa ekonomiya, no, Sir. How about you, Maki? Have you been brewing something new during this quarantine?
Well, I actually hope so. Pero parang parehas kami ni Sir RD. Inuna yung para sa ekonomiya. Actually, I was able to put up 2 businesses because of this pandemic. So I took advantage of selling food and bringing Baguio goodies here in Manila. So I'm quite busy pero nakakapagsulat sa gabi pag pero hindi ko binibigyan yung sarili ko ngayon ng pressure kasi as a mother also and with all the uncertainties this pandemic gave us, hindi ko maiwasan maging anxious kasi our main business is about tourism. So we are really affected. So medyo I need to help my husband na mag-cope up dito sa changes na nangyayari sa mundo ngayon. So but still I would say na hindi naman ako nahihiya na hindi ako nakapagsulat. At least productive din naman at hindi ako nag-stuck sa kalungkutan na iba na yung buhay natin ngayon, hindi na kami makalabas or nabawasan yung sales namin. Still, I'm doing something. And yun, na-busy rin ako sa pagbabasa ng gawa ng mga i-mentor ko. So, yun lang.
Cool yan. I think it's important that we all, value our own pace. Kasi every one of us, we have our own struggles, we have our own paces, we have our own motivation. So, yan ang super important, especially ngayong quarantine. So, thank you, Mackie. And for everyone who is watching us, we will be treated to a short talk by our Project Foreword Mentors. So I wanna bring Mackie na. She will be the first to talk about writing to discover your purpose. So to those who don't know Mackie yet, Mackie Wonder is a beautiful and gorgeous mom and the best-selling author of Dating My Ex, which is now available on National Bookstore. You can check that out below. You check out yun ako sa 10% again. Okay? So without further ado, everyone, Mackie Wonder.
Hi, good afternoon. Okay, I was tasked to talk about writing to discover your purpose. One of my favorite things to talk about is how I've been into different industries at the age of 32. Before being a writer, I'm a certified public accountant who turns out to be a hair and makeup artist, a chef, now a businesswoman, and a writer. I haven't mentioned being a breadwinner and a wife and a mother. I get some reactions like, wow, ang galing mo naman. How did you do that? Matutulog ka pa ba? I more so often pause while writing a form asking me to write my profession kasi sobrang dami. One time on my way to an international flight, the immigration officer asked me, what do you do? And for a second, I couldn't mouth what it is that I really do. But what most people don't know about is that I've been on a phase where I am not sure where I belong. Bilang isang anak ng tricycle driver at housewife, kahit mahirap kami, hindi naman naging mahirap sa akin na makapagtapos ng pag-aaral bilang isang scholar ng bayan. Nung panahong yon, punong-puno ako ng ambisyon at pangarap, pero kung tatanungin mo ako dati kung ano nakikita kong ginagawa bilang isang matagumpay na tao, kahit na gaano kalakas ang imahinasyon ko, hindi kita masasagot. Like many others, I took up accountancy because there's a successful accountant relative, but I am not sure if that's what I wanted to be. I even asked my friends who actually knows who they wanted to be. We were 18 then, too young in experience. During college, I saw my classmate. Pumipirma siya sa likod ng columnar notebook namin. Tinanong ko siya, anong ginagawa mo? Sabi niya, nagpa-practice ako ng pirma ko because one day, it will worth thousands. Narinig ko na yon, pero hindi ko talaga ma-picture yung sarili ko na yung signature ko magiging worth of thousands. So, bumalik na lang ako sa pagde-daydream. Nag-i-imagine na naman ako ng romance story sa ulo ko na ako yung bida at meron akong hero na gwapo pero hindi ko kilala. So, yung buong college day ko is mainly getting lost in my thoughts. When I am bored, I daydream. I imagine. Wala pang Facebook noon. I thought everyone composed a story in their head. Not until I met my husband who lacked imagination. I never write though. Habang tumatagal ako sa college, I was wired in a way how my classmates were wired. Finish college, pass the boards, work in SGV or Punong Bayan, then later on put up an accounting firm of your own. Maybe that's the reason the heroine in my imagination is wearing a corporate attire and having a cute meet with her boss. So when I passed the board exam, I work on a private company. But no, I didn't meet my hero there. No hunky young CEO, but an old belly fat guy who laughs like Santa Claus. But he's really nice. I jumped from one accounting job to another. It was really a tiring process, but I cannot help it. I find myself zoning out and not giving my best, although I rarely make mistakes at my job. I'm not happy that I cannot be like my colleagues. Although tired, you can see the passion in their eyes while doing their job. My last accounting job before I quit in a production company that shoots commercials and movies, I met directors and writers. Most of our corporate events would be watching Cinemalaya, short films, and attending premiere nights. There's something in me ignited. While my colleagues enjoyed seeing actors in the flesh, I get starstruck with directors and writers. Until I gave birth and I have to rest in working. So nag-study ako ng hair and makeup artist. I feel like my calling is at the backstage. I work doing makeup for magazines, fashion shows, pageants, commercials, name it. But what I like the most doing is makeup for theater, because I get to watch the theater play, and I always wondered how the show was written. That time, I feel that something is wrong with me. Pagod na pagod ako sa pag-makeup. Kahit may nagsasabi na ang layo na narating mo, hindi ko pa rin yun matanggap. Parang wala pa rin ako sa focus. I was frustrated, disappointed, kasi kahit sabihin nila na lahat ng pinasok ko nagtatagumpay ako, my goal is to pass the board exam na kuha ko. My goal is to be a makeup artist. Nabubuk naman ako. Pero hindi ko na feel na accomplish ako. Sabi ko, Lord patawad, if this is uncontentment, can you please remove the cloud in my thoughts and make it clear for me. Sino ba ako? Saan ba ako dapat? Nag-aral pa ako ng culinary arts pero hindi din talaga doon yung puso ko. I still zone out. Nawawala ako sa gitna ng mga taong masasaya sa mga naabot nilang pangarap. Why am I not as passionate as they are? Noong mga panahong yon, I started reading Wattpad. It took me only one reading, isang story yon. Pagkatapos na nag-create na ako ng sarili kong story. Doon ko naranasan na maging tutok at maging masaya sa tipan ng mga daliri ko sa laptop. Yun yung naging musika ko. Halos hindi pa ako nakakabangon sa kama, nagsusulat na ako ng tahimik para hindi magising yung anak ko sa tabi ko. Hanggang sa nakakaligtaan ko ng kumain. Walang nagbabasa noon pero patuloy pa rin ako nagsusulat. Seeing my work on an ebook format on a platform where no one knows me excites me. I feel freedom. I feel that finally I can express myself. Before kasi I cannot talk about being demotivated. I cannot talk about the story stuck in my head because no one is interested. I was even ashamed to say that I want to start writing when I was 28, married and a mother, and a CPA for 8 years that time. Ano nga ba, hindi ko naman pinagpapatuloy lahat ng mga sinisimulan ko. Hininto ko yung pagiging accountant, hininto ko yung pagbe-makeup. I feel I was lost, so lalo ako nawalan ng confidence sa pagsusulat. Pero in writing, I always feel at home. Pakiramdam ko, meron pa akong isang tahanang inuuwian. Napakaraming kwento ang naipon na hindi ko kailanman naisulat. Ngayon naisusulat ko na. And isang message lang na pumasok sa inbox ko that time. Ang sabi niya sa akin, gusto ko yung story mo, magsulat ka pa. It was my push. Until I couldn't believe receiving stars for my story, my notification of following started to rise in one day, my comment box gets traffic. The first story I wrote about the CEO and the secretary, my once day dream began to get support. My heart was so full. I was so excited to write even more. Finally, I met passion. I have the glow and satisfaction in doing something I love. Next is publishing offers came in, one after the another. The ultimate goal is to see my name in national bookstore, and I did. Not only that, I was part of the bestsellers list. And who would have thought that I would be here talking about my journey and sitting with two of the most amazing local writers. For me, writing isn't all about fame. When my friends think that I am famous, I always disagree. I am not famous, but I am a woman who is happy and contented, doing the things she always loved. I am someone who found her inner voice. I am someone who never settled. I am someone who took a leap of faith and who is brave enough to start something I have no idea about. Sure, my signature should have cost thousands of pesos, but it paid me back with thousands of smiles. And for me, that is my purpose. What saddens me is that intelligent writers look down on Wattpad writers or even being a mere pocketbook romance writer. Sabi nila, sayang yung papel. Pornografiya ito at tinuturuan ng mga kabataan pumili ng masasamang alternatibo na walang matututunan. Na hindi raw kami nararapat humanay sa mga kapita-pitagang manunulat kagaya ng mga kasama ko ngayon. That makes me think that other people think that not everyone deserves to be called a writer or to be supported. And this is what my writing purpose came in. Gusto kong baguhin yung pananaw ng ibang tao. Hindi man lahat ng titik ay kayang bumago ng mundo, pero maaari namang ito ay makapagpagaan ng loob ng isang tao. Minsan hindi kailangang laging malaki yung ambag mo. Hindi naman kailangang, sorry, nagiging emotional ako kasi may pinagdadaanan kami sa writing industry. Hindi. Siguro alam na, naririnig niyo ito yung mga commenters ko kasi parang dinadown yung writing industry na online writing platform. And this always has been my purpose na gusto ko encourage lahat na magsulat lang kayo kahit ano, ganun. So, okay, hindi naman kailangan maging grandioso ng bawat librong iniaanak mo. Hindi mo kailangan maging matalino para magkwento. Minsan sa simpleng pagpapasaya ng tao na gustong tumakas sa mapait na realidad at ang kadalasang madilim na araw-araw na daan nilang tinatahak. For me, it's also purpose. So, yun. Maaring ang taong kailangang tumakas sa mapait na realidad ay yung mismong manunulat. That's what happened to me. So, yun. My advice to Mga writers, huwag kayong tumigil at makinig sa ingay ng masasakit na kritisismo na halos insulto na. And I want to take this opportunity to thank ABS-CBN and National Bookstore and my co-mentors who didn't hesitate to sit with me and recognize me as a writer. Ano ba yun? Naiiyak ako. Kasi, yun, parang very timely lang nito for us. So, yun. Someday, I dream to be as big as you are and write more purposeful materials that others can learn from. But for now, I could say that I discovered my purpose in writing. That is to reach millions of people who needs my story to be a relief and to inspire people to dream and not to be intimidated by huge waves that keeps on shoving them back to the shore. So today, when someone asks me, what do you do? With full accountability, I will answer, I am a writer. So thank you. Ano ba, nag-emotional ako.
That's okay. Thank you, Maki. Alam mo, you are one of the most talented and wonderful women we've ever had the honor to work with. So keep writing and keep dreaming. You have inspired all of us. Thank you so much. Naiyak na kaming lahat dahil sa'yo. You know, I think your talk has shown us... I think your talk has shown us that okay lang. Kasi I think it inspired us. It showed us that the path to success is not straight. You know, it's not direct. It's not from A to B to C to success. Kasi it's filled with all of these pasikot-sikot, these anxieties, these doubts, these all of unseemingly wrong decisions, but they're not wrong decisions. They're just another point in your journey. And so we will take all of that criticism, all of that encouragement, all of those, we will keep that and help us keep writing. It will fuel us to keep writing. That's important. That's what you taught. Thank you so much, Maki. Thank you so much, Maki. Okay, I'll bring you again later on for a Q&A session. I'm sure a lot of your readers have so much to ask you. Huwag ka na umiyak. Although you look pretty, even though you're smiling, you're crying, you're amazing. We'll talk to you later on. At this point, I want to introduce you to our second speaker and mentor who will talk about, get this, bad habits of writers. Nako, madaming matatamaan dito. Natamaan na din ako ng slide. So, well, he is an award-winning entrepreneur, speaker, and best-selling authors of 11 books, including ABS-CBN Books' very own The Happy Entrepreneur. So everyone, please welcome Sir R.D. Roberto.
Hi, Jobs. Thank you so much. Teka lang. I have to breathe deeply after Maki sharing. Daming hugot, grabe. Thank you for sharing that, Maki. Nako, how can I follow that? But again, going back, ano nga yun, Joby? What are
the bad habits of writers? Ano naman tayo? Let's go a bit more technical because I think Maki has helped us, you know, be inspired to continue writing. But I think writing will come with a lot of, you know, bumps along the way. And that is where Sir R.D. Roberto comes in.
Well, first of all, saan ba galing yung habits, di ba? Ano ba yung genesis ng habits? First, the habit comes from our thinking and our beliefs. So if you start, for example, with a belief or thinking that is bad, it will result in an action that will be repeated over and over. And when that action is repeated over and over, then that's when it becomes a habit. Diba? So saan nag-umpisa? It starts with the thinking. It starts with the bad thinking or bad beliefs. For example, of bad thinking or bad beliefs that a writer can have is not knowing their why, like Maki said, or believing the lies of others that your writing is not important. So just give it up. Diba? So, for example, you don't write because you don't believe it's important, that your writing is important. That's a bad habit. That's a bad thought. Most of the time, people, aspiring writers will say, I don't have time. Diba? That's the most common excuse. I have a dream, I want to write, but I don't have time. But the expression, I don't have time, is really another way of saying, I don't think it's that important. Kasi kung importante yan, gagawa mo ng panahon. Di ba? Eh, ang talagang iniisip na, hindi kaya, it's not really that important. Parang siguro yung sinasabi ko, hindi ganun ka-importante na kailangan isulat. So that bad habit of not having time really starts from that self-defeating thinking na hindi importante yung why ko. So you really have to start there. And I'm glad that Maki opened this up with the purpose. And ako rin, Maki, nung mag-fill up ako sa immigration ng ano nga ba isusulat ko? Author, entrepreneur, ano ba? So now, without hesitation, I put author. Diba? Kasi, so it starts with that identity, with panindigan mo, writer ako, author ako, and I have to write. So you make time because it's important. And in my workshops, I give an example of I give an exercise where I ask people to write for 90 seconds. Gugulat sila. Oh, I show them, I give them a writing prompt, and then they write for 90 seconds, and I time them. Tapos nagugulat sila because at the end of 90 seconds, they are able to write 50 to 100 words. And I tell them, wow, look at you guys, di ba? Sinasabi niyo, wala kayong oras, wala kayong time. But when it really comes, when I give you the time limit of 90 seconds, you're able to come up with at hindi basura, I mean, it's really wonderful prose. Some people can come up with such wonderful prose, poetry, a start of a great essay or book in 90 seconds. I tell them, if you can write 50 words, imagine in 90 seconds, and you do that every day, or you give yourself 90 seconds while waiting for your friend in the restaurant, di ba? In 50 words times 10 times in a week, that's 500 words, you know, then do the math, then another 10 times, that's 5,000 words. That's like a short novel, I don't know, an ebook or novella. So I tell, don't believe, number one, don't believe in the lie that you don't have time. So you have to really dig down deep and say, why am I saying there's no time? Because you have to believe and take away that bad habit of thinking that your writing is not important. It is important. There is someone out there waiting to be entertained, to be taken into another world, to be inspired, to be, you know, as in Ricky's words, na gawin siyang buo, kasi we live in a fallen, broken world. Your writing can heal someone. So if you believe that, tumatayo balahibo ko, parang if you believe that, then you will go and write, no matter if you think you don't have time. So that's the first big bad habit that I want to demolish. And I fall into that sometimes kasi, you know, I think writers in general, they have this syndrome of self-deprecating. Parang we always think na hindi ako worthy, or parang what I write is not important. Parang, I don't know, for me, parang meron hadlang. There's this, a writer's block, I think, it really starts from there, na hindi ganun ka-importante yung ginagawa ko. So the second bad habit that I can say is also starts with thinking when you think that I can only write in this certain location. Hindi ako magsusulat kung wala ako dun sa favorite kong spot. For me, that's a bad habit. You have to learn how to write everywhere, wherever you are, whether it's in the airplane, in the taxi, in the grab car, kahit nasa banyo ka, learn to write everywhere. Don't make it an excuse. I will only start writing if I'm in my favorite XYZ coffee shop or XYZ beach resort or poolside. So mapapatigil ka if you believe in that other lie or bad habit. Next, so I talked about the why, I talked about the when, and then the what. Not believing also that what you have to say or what you have to write is again not important. It's not worthy. And I think that different genres and the different kind of writers that we have right now, we all respect each other. And I think that what we have to write is important to our culture, is important for the next generation. Lagi ako nasasayangan na, you know, there's this other author who I consider a mentor. He said, let we have to rob the grave. Kasi one day when we die, we will make the grave, the cemetery, a rich place by bringing all our unfinished books, all our unwritten books to the grave. Diba? So, ang sabi niya, die empty. That should be our ambition, is to die empty, that by the time we die, nasulat na natin lahat ng kailangan natin isulat. Diba? Everything, and sabi nga na Isabel Allende, what should we write about? Write about what should not be forgotten. Sabi ni Isabel Allende, write about what should not be forgotten. And so, I want to write everything that should not be forgotten. By the time I go to the grave, nasulat ko na lahat. So, bad habit number 6, yun nga, isip natin, hindi importante itong nangyari sa akin. And being an inspirational writer, I look at all my life's trials and challenges and failures in my life as something to write about. I mean, almost all of my books came out of a trial or came out of a challenge or a big failure in my life. And to think na hindi dapat isulat yun, for me, it's not just a bad habit, but it's bad thinking that leads to writers not to write. Yun. So, tatlo na yan. May time pa ba ako for 2 more tips?
Sige, yes, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so parang pinapalo ko yung journalism. Who, what, where, what, when, and how. Yeah. The how naman is I think, the bad habit of, it's not really improving on your craft. And how do you improve on your craft as a writer? By reading. I think there's no other shortcut but to read other people's books. So a bad habit that a writer can have is forgetting to read. And I love this festival kasi inuna natin, hindi siya Philippine writers and readers, but it's Philippine readers and writers. And napaka-importante yung, and that's why I love ABS-CBN books for the advocacy that it's spearheading on reading, because growing up, if I was so enamored, parang, the books that I read brought me to another place, and I didn't know that the books that I read would shape my desire and my passion to write myself, to be a writer myself. So, yun po, huwag natin pabayaan. Don't lose that such a basic foundation of reading. Sarap magbasa. Lalo na ngayon, yung most people, I mean, I still prefer, Maki, I read a lot online, but, and I'm glad that you also have print books. So, I mean, I think it's my age also, but I like going to bed and, being next to my wife. I love lying down beside a book. So,
Hindi naman nagsaselos yung wife mo kasi may book ang katabi.
author din naman yung wife ko eh. Kaya I'm sleeping.
So may katabi din siyang book. Pareho kayo.
Oo.
Katabi kayo.
And sometimes, we read to each other, di ba? So, sweet. Ayun. So, yeah, I think and the last is who. For me, of course, some of my mentors who are authors would tell me, Ardy, think about who you're writing for. Think about your audience. Don't forget them. To be in their shoes and to imagine how they feel. For me, that's important. And once you get into the writing space and into the writing flow, get into the habit of really thinking of who's going to read your writing. Think of that. Sometimes I tell my students that, create an avatar of that reader who you're imagining to read that book. But I find in my case, being a Christian writer as well, I write a lot of Christian-inspired themes. I tend to write better when I'm in the habit of writing for a reader of one or an audience of one. So I start my day writing for that audience of one, which is the Lord, which is God. So when I start writing in my journal, my prayer journal, it primes the pump. And I find that when I forget to do that part of communication with my maker, parang hindi ganun ka-inspired ang writing ko. So, I don't know if that will work for others, but for me, it's a bad habit when I don't start by writing. Some people, they pray and they sit down and they talk to God and pray. Pero ako, my form of prayer is writing pa rin. I'm writing to my Creator, He's the author and perfecter of my faith. And so I write to Him first, and when I'm in the habit of doing that, everything else follows. It's such a joy and a flow to write after that. So yun lang po ma-share ko. I hope that was enough.
It was super enlightening. Thank you, Sir RD. I think actually you made us realize, no, that we have to assure ourselves that we are worthy. We have to remind ourselves that someone is listening. If at least one person is listening, then that's enough. It's diba? What we've written was worth it. Because it's more masakit nga to look back at your life and have so many regrets. Pero saying that I've lived it, I did it, I tried to do it, parang that in itself, it's an accomplishment already.
Amen.
And yes, thank you so much, Sir RD. I'll bring you back a little bit later. On. Pero for now, I want to bring our third very special mentor author who needs no introduction. Pero gagawin ko na. Isang batikang screenwriter, journalist, novelist, and playwright. He has received awards from all over the world for his works. And guys, his trip to Quiapo, basically a textbook for all screenplay writers. Please, you can add to cart that here at sa baba ng Shopee app, okay? So, well, he has touched many lives since he has been conducting screenplay workshops for free since 1982. That's so amazing. Sharing with us his talent and genius for so many aspiring writers out there. And apart from his talk, meron siyang special announcement later for Project Foreword. So, abangan natin yan. So, everyone, let's all welcome to talk about the topic, How Writing Saved Me. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Ricky Lee. Sir, nakamute ka.
Nakamute pa rin.
Ayan, okay na.
Okay, hi Joey, hi RD and Maki. Actually, I'm so grateful na nasama ko sa program na to. Kanina ko lang na-realize kasi ngayon ko lang narinig si RD at si Maki. And ang dami nilang sinabi na tinamaan ako. So, buti pala nandito ako. Para matamaan. Nakalimutan ko tuloy yung topic ko. Anyway, so how writing saved me. Maswerte ako kasi bata pa ako. Binabasahan na ako nung kapitbahay namin and eventually nung yaya ko. Mga 3-4 years old pa lang ako noon. Kaya natuto ako magbasa nang hindi pa ako marunong magbasa. And I was very shy. I was very inept. Ang feeling ko lagi I didn't belong. Sakitin ako, payat ako. Ang feeling ko I was not good enough for this world. Ampun lang ako. Gusto kong lumayas, tumakas lagi. Pero pag nagbabasa na siya ng mga kwento, comics muna, and then magazines, UIY, Bulaklak, and then mga comics ulit. Doon ako lumaki sa pagbabasa ng comics. Mula sa pagbabasa ng yaya ko sa akin hanggang sa ako na mismo nagbabasa. And tuwing nagbabasa ako ng mga comics at mga kwento doon sa magazine at eventually sa mga libro, ang feeling ko hindi ko iniisip na tumatakas ako doon sa sitwasyon ng buhay ko na gusto kong layasan, na ang feeling ko miserable. Ang feeling ko, pag nagbabasa ako ng mga kwento, hindi ako tumatakas, kundi pumupunta ako sa isang lugar. So parang hindi siya pagtakas, yung mga nababasa kong mga kwento sa comics at sa ano, kundi pagpunta sa isang lugar. It came to a point where, growing up, elementary years, mas totoo sa akin yung mga tauhan na nababasa ko kaysa doon sa mga totoong tao sa palibot ko. Mas totoo sa akin, naalala ko may mga Prinsesa Naranja, mga hindi nyo pa kilala mga writers ngayon. May fantasy, may sirena, mas totoo pa sa akin sila, sina Jezebel, sina Superman, kaysa sa mga tao sa palibot ko. And it helped me cope doon sa inferiority complex ko, doon sa feeling ko na I don't belong. pag nagbabasa ako, I felt that I belonged. I felt that I could change the world. I could change myself. And so eventually I started writing. I was able to publish my first short story when I was in high school, 4th year. Pinadala ko mulang Daet, Bicol, dito sa Manila. Hindi, I doubt kung ganun kaganda yung short story na sinulat ko. Kaya lang may kalikip siyang sulat na nagmakaawa ako dun sa author. Nakakorban ako, at gusto kong lumayas ng Bicol at may dream ako ng ganito and so on and so forth. I think naawa siya dun sa sulat ko. Kaya pinablish niya. Pero nang nabasa ko sa magazine, nakita ko yung byline ko at yung story ko sa magazine in Bicol, 4th year, wanting to escape from Bicol to come to Manila, ang feeling ko I can do anything. Nung nakita ko yung pangalan ko dun sa papel, ako ito eh. Kaya ko to lahat eh. And so I started writing. Nung dumating ako ng Manila, solo ako, lumayas ako. I did all sorts of jobs, waiter, accountant clerk, tutor, etc., etc., etc. But in the end, I was always writing. And pag nagsusulat ako, ang feeling ko uli, kaya ko to lahat. Hindi nawala yung inferiority complex ko. In fact, nadagdagan pa. Sumobra yung pagiging mahihain ko, sumobra yung pag-isip ko sa sarili ko na hindi ako ganito kahusay, hindi ako ganito kagaling, hindi ako ganito kabagay. Wala akong alam na ibang gawin. Clumsy akong tao. Hindi nawala yon. Pero pag nagsusulat ako, natatanggap ko lahat ng limitations ko, natatanggap ko lahat ng depekto ko sa sarili ko. Kasi kung nakakaya ng characters ko, ba't hindi ko makakaya? Parang feeling ko yung dinadaanan ng mga characters ko na struggles and problems and agonies and paghihirap until eventually nagbabago sila at natatransform at nagsasucceed sa kanilang ending. Kung nakakaya ko pa ulit-ulit sa kanila, palagay ko mahanap ko rin yung masaya kong ending. And so, it makes me feel more confident. It makes me feel na okay ako, kaya ko. And so, I made it a habit na nagsusulat ako lagi. Hindi ko alam kung maswerte ako o hindi ako maswerte kasi unlike sina RD o sina Maki, wala akong alam na ibang gawin kundi magsulat. Kaya wala akong choice except magsulat. Wala akong ibang pamimilian eh. And I suppose that's part of the reason why naging prolific ako, naging manunulat talaga ako. So, nagsusulat ako every morning. Todo pagsusulat. And ginagawa ko yun as a ritual na magsulat every morning. Because pag nakapagsulat na ako, parang ang feeling ko, I'm ready now to face the world. Kaya ko na maski anong problema na sa labas. Pero pag hindi ako nakapagsulat, ang feeling ko parang I'm so inadequate, napaka-inferior ko ulit sa iba, sakitin ako, I'm clumsy, hindi ako marunong magsalita like this. Nung nag-aaral ako sa UP, naging presidente ako ng UP Writers Club, pumunta ako sa harapan ng mga members para magsalita. One or two phrases pa lang ako, nag-blackout na ako. And so nakatingin lang ako sa kanila, nakatingin sila sa akin, nagtinginan kami, and then bumaba ako. Pero pinalakpakan nila ako. So ganun ako ka-clumsy at kamahiyain. Pero pag nagsusulat ako every morning, handa akong harapin lahat sa mundo. Then dumating yung pandemic. So, nakupatay na. Kasi I'm a very mobile person. I cannot write if I don't move around. When I was writing scripts, I would write sa food courts, I would write sa bus. Kaya trip to Quiapo, nung nag-aaral ako sa UP, nag-board ako sa Nara dorm, sasakay ako ng bus, ako ng Quiapo, balik-balik na UP Quiapo, UP Quiapo, UP Quiapo. Kasi yung trip, doon ako nakakapag-isip. Doon ko nabubuo yung mga kwento. I have to keep moving. Maligalig akong tao. I'm restless. Hindi ako makapahinga. I easily get bored. I cannot focus and I cannot stay put. Kaya nang dumating yung pandemic, sabi ko patay na. I cannot stay put. I have to go out every day. So, dahil hindi ako makalabas, dahil senior na ako, and may pandemic, and bawal, I forced myself to write. So, I was writing furiously every day. And before I knew it, wala na yung anxieties ko. May panic attacks ako eh. Wala na yung anxieties ko, wala lahat. I was really very productive. Nakatapos ako ng 4-5 scripts na holdover assignments before the lockdown. Nakapag-workshop ako ng tuloy-tuloy, patong-patong at lahat, and so on. So, and I realized na mas naging connected ako sa lahat. Unlike before nung nakakalabas ako, I thought na when I was writing, mas nakakonekta ako sa labas. Kasi dahil sa pagsusulat ko, mas naintindihan ko yung sarili ko. Dahil sa mga sinusulat kong characters at mga situation. And difficult itong times na ito ng pandemic kasi sa dami ng nangyayari ngayon at sa dami ng hindi ka sigurado, saan ito papunta, anong hinaharap, itong sinusulat kong scripts, saan ito pupunta, sino magpo-produce nito. Para kang nagkakapira-piraso bilang isang tao, nawawala yung sense of identity mo na ako si Ricky, ganito ako, marunong ko ng ganito. Sadali yung mga alam ko, yung mga sino ako, nawala. So nagkapira-piraso ako. Hindi ko na alam ano na nga ba ang kaya ko, ano na naghihintay sa akin, ano ang mangyayari. Pero every time na nagsusulat ako, pinuput together ko yung characters ko at yung kwento nila, then I start making sense of the world, of other people, and napuput together ko ulit yung pera-peraso kong sarili. And so, again, handa na akong marap sa mundo. So, malaking naitulong sa akin ng mulang pagbabasa hanggang pagsusulat. Lalo na, actually, ngayong pandemic na pinakailangan well, in my case, kailangan ko ng mga salita para iligtas ako. In effect, what I've been telling you now is mulang pagkabata hanggang ngayon, mga salita, mga kwento ang nakakapitan ko mula sa dahil hanggang lumayas ako pumuntang Maynila hanggang ngayon yung pandemic. Pag nakapitan ko ng mga salita, empowered na ako. Kaya ko na. Pag hindi ako nagsulat, in one day, I feel helpless. Hindi ko alam kung paano harapin ang mundo. Wala akong alam na ibang gawin sa buhay ko. Whether maswerte ako, umalas dahil doon, wala akong alam na ibang gawin. Hindi ako pwedeng mag-entrepreneur. Nag-try ako ng business, nagkalupi-lupi, pinamimigay namin. Even yung books na pinapublish ko ngayon, namimigay kami kuminsan. And so on, pinupuna ako ng mga kaibigan ko na, ba't ka namimigay ng libro? Malulugi ka, publish ka ng publish. Wala akong property, nag-rent talaga ng bahay. Kotse ko, hinuhulugan ko pa rin ngayon. Duman ako sa buhay na napuputulan ng kuryente, even if matagal ako nagsusulat sa pelikula. So, wala akong sense ng mabuhay sa mundong ito. Pero alam kong magsulat at alam kong magbasa. And in the end, it turned out to be enough for me. And so, kanina, nang nagsasalita sina Ardit, sina Maki, na kuminsan nahihirapan magsulat sila. Partly because my family, my anak, etc. and on the unsureness and everything. And na-appreciate ko yun. Pero ako, I have no choice. Hindi ako pwedeng magnegosyo, hindi ako pwedeng gumawa ng macrame or ng kung ano, hindi ako pwedeng magbenta ng mga pagkain. Many of my friends are nagbebenta ng pagkain online because we all have to survive. I have to survive. No lang ng trabaho sa Abs-Cbn, ang laki ng income na wala sa akin, and I have an entire household to support. And so I've been writing furiously to be able to earn money. At hindi ako nahihiya na I have to earn money from writing because nagsimula ako magsulat, earning money. Nung high school ako, hindi ko siya inisip as expression ko, artistic expression, or may gusto kong sabihin sa mundo or what. Inisip ko lang, gusto ko magkwento at kailangan ko ng pera para makalaya sa Bicol. So, ever since, kinoconnecta ko ang popularity ng pagsusulat, ang audience, ang bayad sa pagsusulat, kasi trabaho yun. And that's why I'd also want to tell Maki na nagsimula ko sa comics at sa magazines. So, I never looked down. Pati ako na-touch sa iyo si Maki kasi I never look down kasi kung wala yung mga comics na yun na binabasa sa akin at kinokolekta namin, and eventually nang lumalaki na ako, lahat ng perang naihipon ko kinokolekta ko doon sa magazine sa comics. Kung wala yun, hindi ako matututong magsulat. Kaya hindi ako naglo-look down na ay comics lang yan or teleserye yan or radyo yan. Pwede siyang maganda, pwede siyang pangit. Pero maski naman yan mga literary canons, pwede rin siyang maganda, pwedeng pangit. Pwede rin siya may all this mga antataas na, sabi nila matataas na mga nobela, pwede rin siyang or work of kung ano man, fiction and fiction. Pwede rin siyang maganda, pwedeng pangit. In short, vessels lang yan lahat eh. Yung teleserye, yung Wattpad, etc. It's up to us kung anong ilalagay natin eh. At ang pwede nating ilagay, hindi kinakailangang makayanig mundong mga topics because kung inilagay mo ay nakapagbukas maski konti sa mata, sa kaluluwa, sa puso nung nagbabasa para mas nakita niya ngayon na yung palang bata sa kalsada, ganito parang dinadaanan niya. O ang bulaklak pala pag tumutubo and then lumalapit yung paru-paro ganito. Habang nabubuksan mo ang consciousness mo at hindi mo siya binubulag, I think mas ma-appreciate niya later pag may nakita siya ngayong mga malalaking issues like anti-terror bills or strikes and etc. Yun nagagamitin niya para tumingin doon eh. So walang mataas, walang maliit. na pagbubukas ng consciousness. Sa akin, pantay lahat yun. Basta binubuksan natin ang mata at ang kaluluwa ng nagbabasa sa atin, then gagamitin niya yun para makita niya ang katotohanan sa labas sa buhay. That's why, in closing, I'd like to say na I feel so privileged and honored na writer ako at writers kami, na parang may hawak kaming magic tool or wand na makapagkwento, na makapagbuo ng mga kwento sa pamamagitan ng mga salita para masabi namin sa mga taong nakokonektahan namin na maski gaano kahirap ang buhay, na gaya ng naging buhay ko dati o buhay natin ngayon dahil sa pandemic, gaano man ka-tragic or grim or devastating ang nangyayari sa palibot, meron tayong kakayanan meron tayong hawak-hawak na magic tool na magkwento para masabi sa kanila na gaano man kahirap itong mga pinagdadaanan natin at gaano ka-devastating. Mundo natin ito buhay natin ito tayong magpiprevail in the end and I think that's why saludo ako, hindi lang sa sarili ko, saludo ako sa lahat ng nagsusulat, sa lahat ng gumagawa ng libro, sa lahat ng nagkukwento.
Grabe, sir, ang comforting what you said about for readers and writers, like super comforting kasi it makes us feel how reading and writing literally and metaphorically can save us. Literally from, mga bayarin sa bahay and metaphorically, of course, in, our soul, our thoughts, our heart. And in the most trying of times, especially now in the pandemic, it empowers us. I feel it empowers us to embrace who we are, our tone, our limitations, our genre, no matter how corny sometimes we want, diba? It empowers us to embrace all of it.
Yes, oo. Para siyang, lagi kong sinasabi sa workshoppers with every story that you write, para siyang gasera, ilaw sa madilim na daan. So, what a privilege. Sa isang daan na madilim, nakakapaglagay ka ng isang ilaw. Maski isang ilaw ang nalagay mo, ang laking bagay na nun Kung marami kang ilaw na nalalagay, iilawan mo ang daan ng mga tao.
That's right. At least hindi ka mabubunggo sa poste. Nakita mo yung ilaw.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sir Ricky. I want to bring back our two writers and authors for a short one question discussion lang before we wrap up this whole thing. I think a lot of our writers want to know this. I think anxiety point of a lot of writers. Sir RD, Sir Ricky, and Mackie wonder, what can you say? When can you say that you've made it as a writer? That you're successful as a writer? Ay, Sir, mukhang may sasabihin si Sir Ricky. So, Sir Ricky ka muna.
Okay. I've been writing since high school. And so I've been writing for so many decades and I've written lahat na yata. Kasi maligalig ako lahat ng genres, plays, etc., lyrics ng kanta, etc., and so on and so forth. Comics na lang. By the way, ang isang dream ko, so hindi ko pa natutupad lahat pala. Amapola was supposed to be a graphic novel, hindi ko magawa-gawa, hindi ako marunong magsulat comics. But now I'm doing it with an artist. Natanggap ko na hindi ko kayang gawin. But anyway, dreams, kung gaano karami ang dreams ko nung nasa Bicol ako, bursting yung puso ko with dreams na gusto ko matupad, I think ganun pa rin karami yung dibdib ko, bursting with dreams na gusto kong matupad. Ganun pa rin karami yung gusto kong isulat na libro na hindi ko pa nasusulat. Kaya sana tama si RD na kailangan masulat mo lahat bago ka mamatay. Ibig sabihin, haba pa ang buhay ko ng mahabang-mahaba kasi ang dami-dami ko hindi nasusulat na libro and pelikula, but lalo na libro. And just this year, ang dami ko like Trip to Capo 2, I'm trying to finish it, and then my fourth novel, and then etc., memoirs, and so on. So, ang dami pang kailangang isulat, and ang dami pang excited akong isulat. And I'd like to add na, aside from sinabi kong privilege kanina, I feel so privileged na nabubuhay ako, kumikita ako by doing what I really love and enjoy doing, which is writing.
That's right. Kaya si RD, what can you say? When can I say that I've made it as a writer?
I think if you think that you've made it, you haven't really made it. Kasi wala naman graduation for a real writer. Wala naman You graduate ka lang pag you reach the grave or, nabuhos mo na lahat. So, I like to think like the story of the Tower of Babylon, di ba? Parang pride goes before the fall. If we think and if we want to, if you want to build the Tower of Babylon for ourselves to make our names greater, babagsak at babagsak yan later on. So, my advice to writers to remain humble because once you've been proud, edi kung made ka na, di wala na. Wala ka na susulat. Diba? It beats the purpose of being a writer. So, yun lang po. I don't know.
That's true. It is true though, di ba? I think humility is super important whether you're a writer or any other field.
Yeah.
How about you, Maki? Was there a point na parang, oh, I've made it? Is there a point like that for you?
I hope so, no? Kaso, di ba parang nung nagsimula ako magsulat, gusto ko lang ng published book. Gusto ko lang magkaroon ng magbabasa. Nung may nagbasa, next goal is to have a published book. When I had a published book, parang, ito naman yung binigay sa akin ng Abs-Cbn is to mentor. And hindi natatapos doon At actually, isa pang goal ko is maging kagaya ni Sir Ricky na yung nabubuhay siya sa pagsusulat. Kasi kung pwede lang na ganun lang talaga, kung kaya akong buhayin itong craft na to at this point, magsusulat na lang talaga ako. Kaso lang, ang dami pa talagang kailangang bayaran. Nagsisimula pala kami ng asawa ko. Kaya parang, yun yung goal ko. Pero I don't think na pag kumikita na rin ako sa pagsusulat, sabihin ko, okay na ako. I don't think so. Dapat hindi natatapos yung goal natin. Kasi yung purpose na binibigay sa atin ni Lord, hindi naman yan natatapos. Laging, nagawa mo na yan, another naman. Kasi, di ba, parang hindi naman natin alam kung gaano kahaba ang buhay natin or gaano kaiksi. So hanggat buhay, laging may goal as a writer. Yun.
Grabe. I agree. I think it's super enlightening and eye-opening ng thoughts ng author mentors natin today. And it's sad that we have to come to a close. So before we end, I want to ask for one last message from our author mentors. When you're tired of writing, when you think no one is listening, why do you think should you continue to write? Sir Ricky, please.
I should continue to write kasi, again, as I said kanina, I have no choice. It's the only thing I know how to do. Although, nagme-mentor na ako, nagpapa-workshop, but it's still connected with writing. Yun lang talaga ang kaya kong gawin And I think it's the best thing na kaya kong gawin. That's why during the pandemic, nag-survive ako kasi I'm doing something na I think I'm good at. So, I don't think I'll stop Even if I end up, I don't know if I'll end up doing bad writing, sana naman hindi. I don't think I'll ever stop writing because parang breathing siya. Kung ibon ako, hindi ako titigil na humuni kasi ibon. Or kung doktor ako, hindi ako titigil manggamot kasi doktor ako. So, writer ako. I will not, and I don't get tired writing I feel excited na magsusulat ako I enjoy the process. Difficult siya, ang hirap, etc. Kumisan, parang ayoko yata magsulat. Pero the moment I start writing, I enjoy the process. I feel so grateful that I am
Ang sarap nun when you're doing what you love and you can keep doing it. How about you, Maki? When you're tired of writing, kasi it will come, right? You're so tired. You think no one's listening. Why should you continue?
I should continue to write because ito yung gusto kong maiwanan sa mga anak ko na huwag kayong hihinto mangarap regardless kung ano yung tinahak niyong path and how old are you. Tuloy mo lang. Parang, yun, nagsusulat talaga ako para sa mga anak ko na, si mommy, accountant siya pero nagawa niya yung gusto niya. So, yun yung gusto kong makita. And apart from my kids, also, I want to inspire those people na nagtatanong sa akin, gusto ko magsulat pero hindi yan yung course ko. So what? Diba? Magsulat ka lang. Hindi rin yan yung course ko, pero kung talagang porsigido ka, makakapag-produce ka ng isang libro. Yun.
That's right. Thank you. Sir R.D. Roberto, for our final and last words. when you're tired of writing? I'm sure because you've been writing a lot. Why should you continue to write?
No, actually, I'm also like Ricky. I don't get tired of writing. In fact, I want to keep on writing. There are times I'm so tired physically. Ewan ko pa nangyayari na sa inyo, Ricky and Maki, na nakakatulog ka sa keyboard, na nakaganon ka. Nangyari na yun sa akin. Tapos nakita ko sa page, puro Zorkeo. Kasi nakakatulog ako while writing. But I feel that if there's one advice that I can give, na it's a cliche because, and there's a good reason it's a cliche, because everyone says keep on writing. Diba? Cow, K-O-W, keep on writing. And there's a reason for that because that's what we do. Writers write. And if you're called to write, you're given that gift to write, and you're good at it, then keep on doing it. And don't listen to all the people who might look down or sometimes they say, oh, anong ginagawa mo? I'm writing. Hindi, anong ang ginagawa mo? Parang nagsusulat ka. For them, parang hindi totoong trabaho. Pero, don't listen to that. I'm so encouraged by Ricky. Ako rin Maki, si Ricky ang gusto ko maabot yung point na actually, pray for me kasi nandun ako sa crossroads na lapit na I can write full-time na. Yun ang talagang goal ko, that I can write full-time. So, if you're given that gift and you're good at it, keep on writing.
Thank you so much, sir. So yan ang hashtag natin for today. Cow. Keep on writing. Yeah. Thank you so much to our Project Forward authors, Sir R.D. Roberto, Sir Ricky Lee, and Maki Wonder. Thank you so much for joining us today.
May announce ako?
Yes, Sir Ricky. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, oo. So, napili ko na yung 10 mentees ko and i-announce namin sa ABS Books mamaya. So, sana pakiabangan nyo and excited na akong ma-meet sila.
Ayan, sa ating Abs-Cbn Books Facebook, please check it out para malaman natin yung 10 mentees of Sir Ricky Lee. Kasi na-announce na yung kay Sir RD and kay Maki. So, stay tuned to the Facebook page. And thank you again so much, everyone. And to all who's watching, thank you for watching this event. If you haven't yet, please support our authors and grab a copy of their books, which are available on National Bookstore. Dating My Ex and Between Maybes by Maki Wonder, The Happy Entrepreneur by R.D. Roberto, and Trip to Quiapo, of course, by Sir Ricky Lee. For those who are watching on Shopee, you may check out the books below. And for everyone else, head over to the website nationalbookstore.com. So on behalf of National Bookstore and Abs-Cbn Books, we would like to thank all of you for joining us today. You can get 10% off their books, Trip to Quiapo, Happy Entrepreneur, Dating My Ex, 10% off yan today until tomorrow only. So please check it out because limited stocks available. There are more virtual events coming up for the 2020 Philippine Readers and Writers Festival. Check out the complete lineup by visiting readersandwritersfestival.com or following National Bookstore on Facebook at NBS Alerts and on Instagram at National Bookstore. Again, thank you guys and have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.
Bye. Joby, RB, Maki.
Hi, Ricky. Hi, Maki, Jovi. Salamat.